Hi everyone. My garden might be small, but it packs a punch at what I can produce. And I just wanted to do a little talk about the chop and drop, which I just think is the most important thing I can do in my garden. I'm just going to turn you around now so you can look at what I'm doing. Yeah, so the most important thing to me is the chop and dropping on the garden. It serves so many purposes. You shouldn't have any bare soil showing if you can help it. And there's so many reasons, as I just said. The big thing is if the soil's covered, the carbon is trapped in the soil, so it's available for the plants to use, which they then turn it into carbon dioxide when they absorb the carbon and the oxygen from the air. The other thing is it will feed the soil. The stuff that you chop and drop will decompose and it will create beautiful humus for the soil. And you have the added benefit that the thick mulch on the top retains the moisture in the summer when you don't want it to dry out. And in the winter time, it becomes like a little thermal blanket. It can actually insulate the soil to keep it a bit warmer than the air above it. Now this garden over here is the new garden that I've got for my beans come the summertime. It was just bare mud. It had been a big tree here. So what I'm going to do over the next few months until spring is just layer more and more chop and drop. Brown and green together, so you've got the carbon and nitrogen. I'm going to put a layer of grass clippings on it shortly, which is full of leaves that have been mowed up with the mower. And I've got also some horse poo coming that I've ordered from a friend, and then on the top I will cover it with some compost and soil that I'll get around the garden. So that's my big thing about chop and drop. I know it's the catchy term at the moment, but you just don't want your soil showing. So this is a lot of this, and this bit of square garden is from the chooks when my poor chookies went and I cleaned it out, and I had all this beautiful wood shavings that have got chicken manure in it. And then over here I've chopped and dropped some banana palms. There's more of the chicken coop stuff, and there's just generally chop and drop the whole time. Anything that I've got that isn't a seed head that I don't want to grow again just gets chopped up and dropped on the ground. And it's not just on my veggies, I actually do it everywhere. This is an area underneath the pergola that in the summertime is no good for growing anything under here because it's so dark, because the grapes and the kiwi fruit completely cover this area. But over winter I thought this is going to be a great little patch to put a few, maybe some brassicas in, and so I've started to chop and drop because I've only just cleared it all. And once again there's all the leaves that are going to decompose that have just fallen naturally from the grapevine, and it's going to be a beautiful rich soil to plant for the winter crops. And then by the time I harvest these, the grapevine will be all in leaf and the cycle begins. And as you all know now, my garden isn't one of strict beauty, obviously, and I just love to think I'm creating habitats for the insects around. Now this was a whole lot of prunings from the fig tree, and I've literally dropped it at the bottom of the tree, and that's going to be a wonderful area where there's lots of bugs can make their nests and houses, and we'll have all these beneficial bugs living all equally in the garden, creating no troubles. So I've got lots of posies around the garden where I've literally left what I've chopped, not chopped up fine, just left these are just as they are, and it'll just become a great little habitat for whoever wants to live in there. There's also many plants in my garden that are not for food actually. They're grown for biomass, which is normally a very quick growing plant that's nitrogen rich. And for here we've got the beautiful Tithonia, and this looks like it's going to be coming into flower soon, and that just grows meters every year, so I just keep chopping it and dropping it up. And this tree beside it is my tree medic, and it's a nitrogen fixing plant, or it's a tree, and it has the most glorious yellow flowers in the spring summer where the bees love it. And also it's an incredible plant to chop and drop. So although I do have food growing, like there's a little pineapple down there that I was given by a dear friend, and I do have many plants in the garden that are literally just for my chopping and dropping because I never have enough foliage and plant matter to chop and drop. I'm always on the lookout. Just rip the cardboard up, scatter it around. It'll all rub down. Then some more composty stuff I've chopped and dropped in a heap that I can spread. This is lovely clippings with lots of leaves and it's so warm. The microbes are doing their job, converting it into compost. It's marvellous. Next time our lawns are mowed out the front, I'll be able to finish this area with a good layer. So there's a good layer now. Slowly building it up. I would say by the time spring comes, October-ish, I'll only need a small layer of good compost or topsoil on the top, ready to be planted out and chopped and dropped again. And on we go. So chopping and dropping is literally just cutting off and cutting it into small pieces. Doesn't have to be super fine. Sometimes I'll leave the bits maybe 20 centimeters long if it's just thin. And if they're little leaves like this, well, they just decompose very quickly. So this tree medic, it always does really well when it's cut back. I think you can even coppice it, but I just tend to cut it back to shape and to stop it shading too much of the garden, because it does grow really, really big if you want. So literally, this is my therapeutic chopping and dropping, and I'll often just chop into the wheelbarrow and I take it where I need it, but I actually want some of this chop and drop down here, because I've seen there's a self-seeded parsley down here, which will be very handy to have, because I don't think I've got any other parsley around at the moment. So I'll just give this a bit of insulation. And so literally that is my chopping and dropping. And it's a great time to be thinking about other things, what you're going to do in the garden, or what you're going to cook for dinner, or plans that you want to make. So it's a very enjoyable time.